Summertime and the living is easy. Hey, y'all, welcome back. Do you ever wonder or feel like you just need a break? It's summertime at the time I'm taping this, June 2022. And sometimes you need a break from Instagram and from posting and from newsletters and things of that nature. Entrepreneurs are always on, right? But summertime brings a different schedule, often vacations. And at the time of this taping, we're into June 2022, like I said. So you may be thinking, when do I take a break? Is that a bad idea? That's a valid question. And another thing to consider is maybe you're, tired of posting, like you're just over it. Usually this happens because we're burnt out, or we just have too much on our plates, or maybe it's a busy season. This happens to me just about every 90 days, true confession. And I know it happens to my mentorship members and clients because they're trying to post regularly and grow their Instagram account. So I'm going to share with you a candid conversation between Brenda McDermott of Texas Over 50 and myself, where she just kind of faded out of Instagram and took an unplanned break about 3 months. And you can hear the discouragement in her voice. So I gave her some advice on taking Instagram breaks. And then the next thing you'll hear is a clip from my mentorship Zoom where we discussed my own break and I was candidly honest with them. And my break was on the heels of a launch earlier in the year. So if you're thinking of taking a break and wondering if it's a good idea, this episode is for you. And now, listen in.
Welcome to Authentic Online Marketing with Ruthie Gray. Growing awareness for your blog, podcast, book, or product involves more than dancing to reels and yelling, "Buy my thing." This show models quality over clamor so you can put your spin on your message and market in a way that feels authentic to you, because nobody wants to sound like an infomercial. And now, here's your host, Ruthie Gray.
I have missed your presence.
Well, I don't know. I've been just like kind of taking a break, but unintentional, but it sort of just has happened, but just seems kind of back burnerish at the moment. So nothing like wrong or anything. It's just like, I just have kind of found myself taking a break.
You're not alone. A lot of the people that started with us in that summer and fall and winter have just needed a break. So I totally get it, including myself. I needed a break too. So, I kind of spread my breaks out. They're like a little bit shorter, but I get it. I really do get it. So,
I'm not sure why. Have you analyzed that to know why it feels like that?
I just think because there is so much change and it seems like every day something's different. And then there's a lot. It's just a lot of people over there right now. It seems like it's not like it used to be. I think people are overwhelmed with video and reels. I think also sometimes we get in our own heads because we see other people succeeding and we're like, why aren't I succeeding? What is different about me? And it's very easy to fall in that trap and get a little bit discouraged and just decide, well, I'm not going to be here right now. But sometimes you actually really do need the break to recenter, to focus on other things. So I'm hopeful that you and some others will be able to get some renewed wind in your sails and come back stronger and be able to post more in the next quarter. But I think it's good to take it by quarters, and just say, this quarter, I see this coming and I need to back off a little bit. Maybe not totally off, but So that was part 1 of today's episode, the first part of my conversation with Brenda. And then later, when we met with our Zoom mentorship on the call after that, I had just come off of my own break. So I'm sharing what I did. You'll hear me refer to my conversation with Brenda and the hope in her voice because she's back in the game. So last week, I completely went dark on Instagram, except for stories. Actually, it was almost a 2-week stint. I will go through shifts sometimes where I'm like, okay, I really need to ramp this up. I'm going to do more reels. I'm going to do, I'm going to post every day or whatever. And then I do that. And then I just am like overwhelmed and tired of, honestly, I get tired of going and commenting. I get tired of answering comments. I get tired of interacting with people. I get peopled out. That's the introvert in me. I have a sweatshirt that says social on it. And my family jokes with me and my daughter last week. She was like, will you just please let me embroider anti in just a little letters because this is not you. And I'm like, I'm social on social media. But I really am not. I'm like an extroverted introvert. Okay. Used to be 100% introvert. That's Michelle. That's a lot of us, I think. So it was a lot. Like I just wrote down for Q1, I did a meeting with my business coach and she said, and I want y'all to think about this. She's like, write down what worked in Q1, what you accomplished and what didn't work. Well, this is everything that worked. It's a lot. Okay. Everything that worked. That shows you how much I did in Q1. This is everything that didn't work, which was not very much at all. So here's the thing. I was exhausted because I was building a website, building a website. It's a lot of copy. It's a lot of proofs. It's a lot of Zoom meetings. It's a lot of selecting a new logo, trying to figure out with Haley, how do we want to present this on social? What colors do we want to go with? What colors do we want to mute? The whole thing was a lot. But also, I was teaching my very first Authentic Online Marketing School, the new brand that I'm doing. And so it was just all the hats, and then here I am trying to still build my tribe on Instagram and all this. So I had that morning a meeting with my mastermind that I'm a part of, that my coach teaches. And she took us through a Q2. And I knew that was important. I knew I needed to be there. And that's where I got clarity. Because for that 1 hour, I made myself sit down, look back, and look ahead. And it was community and it was accountability. And that's where you start. That's how you do it. So that day when I met with Brenda, she didn't expect a pep talk and I didn't expect to give her one, but that's what we had there. I gave her just some practical points for how to get back and what to do. Sometimes, y'all, you just need a break in summertime or other busy seasons. And that's where we're going to leave off this week because next week is part 2. And I'm going to play the second half of my candid conversation with Brenda and what I told her to do to plan her comeback and be present on Instagram. Because once we take a break, we can't stay gone because we're building a platform. But just for today, know that it's okay to take a break. It's good to take full weekends off or at least 24 hours from all technology, honestly, but at least Instagram. You will get burnout if you do Instagram all the time, all year round. At least take a week off a quarter. That's what I do, and that's what I advise my members to do. And then when you come back, you're refreshed and ready to roll again. All right, y'all, if this has helped you, would you please tap the 5 stars and leave a short review of the show? We love fresh reviews. And in fact, I want to take a moment here to read a recent one from listener Laura Beck. For anyone who wants to grow their Instagram, I started listening to this podcast about the time I started posting on Instagram. Ruthie walked me through some of the most mysterious and scary parts of the platform through her encouraging words. She is a joy to listen to and so helpful with insight. Plus, she isn't just about the follows, but about real community, which is what I was looking at building. I also joined her free Facebook group, Authentic Instagram Engagement. Her challenges got me to jump out of my comfort zone and into new exciting territory. Thank you, Ruthie. And thank you, Laura. If you're on Instagram, you can give Laura a follow at Laura K. Beck. She is blowing up the reels and growing like crazy. So go over there and check her out. And thank you for listening too. If you feel like you've gained value from this podcast, please leave us a review. And be sure to come back next week for the second half of this series, How to Come Back to Instagram After Taking a Break. Remember to share your message your way in your own authentic voice. Be yourself. See you next week.